Right there?
Yep.
Okay.
That's it. Yep.
All right.
Still have that wind
Cool.
coming from the northeast off Lake Michigan, keeping that chilly air in place. Also expect to see a little more cloud cover today. The chance for a sprinkle, but most of us will stay dry. Overnight, we cool off into the mid-40s, and temperatures making a little bit more of a move tomorrow with highs near 60. With your Weather Watch 12 forecast, I'm meteorologist Jason Dunning.
Welcome back to the Bob and Bryan Show. You guys are nuts. On 102.9 The Hog.
.623 with Bob and Bryan. Please welcome to the program the CEO of ValorTech, Bryan Sevener. Good morning, Bryan. How are you?
Morning, boys.
What does ValorTech do?
We are a full services managed IT company.
Okay.
Managed services company.
All right. Fully serviced IT company.
Yeah. So we will do anything from service desk, help desk, to cybersecurity, incident response, and pretty much anything in between.
Why do you call it ValorTech?
I wish I could tell you I have a really cool origin story, like a villain origin story. I was sitting at my desk in 2017. I was working on another company that isn't around anymore, but I came up with a name. I was like something militaristic and came up with Valor, did some domain searching, and ValorTech.com was taken. So I was like, try .io. Sure enough, I'm like, cool, there we go. I got a company name.
So
You are a veteran, though. You are a veteran.
Yeah. I'm an Army vet.
Okay.
Did 8 years in the Army, some active duty, and then transitioned to National Guard for the better part of 4.5 years.
Okay. All right.
So.
But you started out, let's go back to the beginning. You grew up on a farm. You're a farm kid.
Yeah, I'm a farm boy.
Okay.
Yep, grew up in Fredonia. A little bit of a hobby / cash crop farm, but my dad was an industrial mechanic or industrial engineer. And he was just kind of a universal guy. He did anything. We worked on, tractors to, rewiring and remodeling our home to anything and everything in between. Went to work with him pretty frequently and kind of got to learn about the industrial manufacturing complex that we have here in Wisconsin. And I don't know, that got me interested in what he did and got me kind of to be a little bit more nerdy. And even though I definitely do not look the part, that kind of sparked my interest. And then he passed away suddenly the year after I graduated high school. But prior to that, I remember sitting in, I think it was social studies or something like that, and seeing, what happened on 9/11, and that absolutely ticking me off. And that made me, being the red-blooded American I was, and growing up as a farm boy, I wanted to go into the military and serve my country. And I took all of that stuff, and it just kind of helped build me up as to who I am today. I consider myself a very resilient individual, and
8 years is a pretty long hitch in the Army.
Yeah, it was, especially at that time. It was a pretty trying time in the military, right? We were global war and terror, and I was dealing with, obviously my dad, the loss of my dad and the family dynamics that changed as a result of that. But it was, and I could tell you after 8 years, my body was done. I had enough, and I wanted to transition out, and I didn't like the politics that was going on at the time in the military as well. Kind of made things a little bit more difficult, and I transitioned out and went, got my first job, so to speak, in the IT.
I don't know. I think being in the military is a pretty good job, pretty big job.
Valid, yeah.
It's a real job. It's a job.
Right. All right. Your first job as a civilian?
Yeah.
Would you call it that?
Yeah. My first job was as a civilian was working in IT, and that just kind of started my career path where I'm at.
Okay, and that gets you to ValorTech, which brings us to Valor Cares, the foundation that you have.
Right. Valor Cares is interesting. My wife and our executive co-director, Chloe, run that. that kind of stems from some of the challenges that I had in 2019 as a result of just life being what it is. You know, I was trying to get Valor off the ground. I had, you know, some other personal stuff going on that was presenting considerable challenges in my life. And there's this thing called ALICE, which is assets limited, income constrained. I forget. It's kind of, think of it as like the forgotten middleman.
Okay.
People where they make enough money, but too much that kind of have access to, you know, resources, right, to help you kind of get through life. And so we wanted to build a foundation that kind of focused heavily on those families that are just kind of easily overlooked. So we put a lot of time and effort. We're still getting the foundation off the ground. We've been around about a year and a half now. But we're doing really good things, like we're doing, you know, some really big book drives. We're doing work with back to school, getting backpacks and some school supplies.
And this is just for people who need help,
yep,
right?
100%. Yeah, it's completely for free. Everything is donated, and we just want to make a huge impact on as many families as possible. Yeah.
All right. So, what is there a goal or an end game, or is this just see where it goes, see who we can help along the way?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much where it is right now. We have ideas and we know where we want to go, right? But we're just trying to make small impacts right now, and we're just trying to make be as impactful as we can with families in need as quickly as we can.
All right. Now
If someone wants to help or donate or
Yeah, if they go to ValorCaresFoundation.org, we have a
ValorCares.
Foundation.org.
Okay.
Yep. You can Google it. You can go to myvalortech.io. There's a link to it there. You can go right on the page. It gives you, if you want to donate, if you want to be a sponsor, get involved in one of our programs, just go to that website.
All right. Your dad used to say, if something sucks, right? This is your dad speaking.
Yeah.
If something sucks, the longer you complain about it, the longer it's going to take to get it done. Is this one of those things where you looked at and you said, this kind of sucks?
Yeah, 100%. I remember the challenges we had going through that stuff, and yeah, it sucked, but very typical to me and my personality. It sucks temporarily. I'll get through it, and that's how I've approached everything else in life. I have a mission. I know what I want to accomplish, and I just go.
You said when you were in high school, social studies class, you learned more about 9/11 and all that stuff. You said it ticked you off.
Yeah.
And you took action. You joined the military. Yep. Are you one of the, and then you see things aren't getting done or you could help somewhere, and so you start a Valor Cares, right?
Yeah.
So are you a guy who swings into action?
I'm not one that sits back and watches bad things happen. I like to be involved and see how I can help. I have the means and the ability, and I like to put that time and effort into things. So this country has been great to me, been great to my family, and I think it's only right that we give back and give back to the community.
You're married?
100%. Yeah.
How many projects do you have piled up at home, Mr. Swing into Action?
Probably more than my wife would be happy with.
You're right.
Yeah. I mean, this weekend we're doing full landscaping. I've got a dingo coming. I've got topsoil and that whole project. Yeah.
Full landscaping.
Yeah.
We were talking about doing mulch today because it's going to be kind of cool. Moving topsoil is a whole different ballgame, right? When you say move it, wheelbarrow it around?
No, I got a dingo. It's kind of like a skid loader. So we're going to be moving about 20 yards of topsoil all over the property. So, yeah. Putting in my wife's garden bed.
Memorial Day event or?
We have something planned. It's one of those things where my wife goes, "We're going here today." I go, "Cool."
Okay.
Will there be a Memorial Day a potato salad you'd be taking with you or something? You know how these things work. You grew up in Fredonia. You're a farm kid. You don't show up empty-handed to parties.
No. Again, my wife is really good at making sure that is always something that we carry along with us.
What's her specialty? What's your specialty when you cook?
Give me smoked. Give me anything smoked. Ribs, pork butt, anything. Give it if it's smoked. I'm good with it. My wife. Her and her family have.
Oh boy! See what he did? Yeah, that's my stuff. You heard it too, right? My wife, careful.
No, my wife and her family have this weird dip that she's gonna blow up my phone here by saying this, but her family has this weird dip that I can't stand.
You don't have to call it weird.
It's this potato chip. It's this chip dip, and they love it. And I look at it and I go.
Is she from Fredonia?
Yeah, she is.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
She grew up down the road from me.
So you've known her,
We've been married now for about 4.5, 5 years.
and she's on board with the ValorTech, the Valor Cares, all that stuff too.
Yeah,
This,
100%.
yeah, I was gonna say, you kinda have to be.
This was really her idea. I mean, a lot of this was her idea driving it. So, both her and our co-director my wife's a special ed teacher, formerly a special ed teacher, and then our co-director is a licensed teacher as well. So I've used a lot of their influence and what they've seen in the classroom to help build, the foundation. So,
Okay.
yeah, 100%.
All right, so you're out of Fredonia, but you're trying to benefit anybody in Wisconsin, anybody in the U.S., anybody in southeastern Wisconsin. I mean, I know you have to start small.
I would love to handle, make Valor Cares and even ValorTech nationwide. ValorTech is already in 35 states, but Valor Cares, we're still growing that. We have clients in 35 states, I should say, not like offices, but
We're kind of nationwide then.
we are.
Okay.
And then, but Valor Cares, I'd love to have that be nationwide, but right now we can put a heavy emphasis on the local, our local needs, and that's where I focus.
Okay, what's your website again?
My ValorTech is valortech.io, and the foundation is valorcaresfoundation.org.
And can they get a hold of you by phoning you?
They
or-
can give us a call, they can email us, fill out the web form, anything.
For all those,
They all come right to me and my team.
is that all on the ValorCaresFoundation.org?
Yep, .org or the valortech.io website,
Okay.
100%. Yep.
Bryan Sevener, CEO of ValorTech. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Enjoy
Thank you
your
for support.
Enjoy your Memorial weekend.
Appreciate it.
Doing some good work. It's 6:34.
Stop calling that tip weird.
Yeah, it's not gonna go well. Yeah, trust us, we know.
Thank you, boys.
News is coming up, Carrie. What do you have?
The
All
weird.
right.
good
What about
comment.
some traffic? Thanks, Carrie.
Clouds moving in today, generally cloudy day, high of 52, so not much warmer. Partly to mostly cloudy
You guys
tonight.
for moving that dirt this weekend.
About
Think about
46.
that,
You
huh?
won't sweat.
Yeah, not gonna. Well, you probably sweat a little bit. It's 20 yards.
Tomorrow, cloudy and 59. It's 42 in Milwaukee, 44 in Racine, 44 in Waukesha.
You asked.